Hi. Before going to video, please subscribe to my channel for more interesting stuff. Story from r/creepyencounters. Posted by u/coastmodern. My friend dated a future serial killer. Not using real names here, since I'm sure the guy I'm about to talk about uses Reddit. My friend Marissa and I hang out every now and then, and a couple months ago I went to see the newest Star Wars movie with her and her new boyfriend, John. Marissa's a nice girl, and John was a dorky but nice guy. We talked about the movie after we saw it and he got really into discussing it. Honestly, I didn't even get bad vibes off of him, for that short time we met. A few months later, I meet up with Marissa, and I ask if she's still dating John. She says no, and tells me why. This is what she said, almost verbatim. Me and John were just hanging out in my room one night, just watching a movie or whatever. I was looking at my phone and out of the corner of my eye I see him fidgeting a lot, like really restless. He keeps shifting around and looking at me. So I ask him what's wrong. He doesn't want to tell me. He's like nothing, but doesn't stop acting weird. So I call him out on it and ask him what's wrong again. Then he says to me, I have this fantasy about you. We've had sex before, so I didn't think it was that weird, but then he said, I want to drag you out into the woods and tie you to a tree. Then I want to rape you and cut off pieces of your flesh. He started breathing heavy when he said this, like just talking about it was turning him on. This literally days before we were supposed to go camping with my family. I kicked him out right then and there and told him to never talk to me again, but for weeks after that I could see him driving past my house sometimes, and I was so scared that he was gonna try to get me somehow. I know that people have strange fetishes sometimes, but this wasn't something he wanted to do with her. This was something he wanted to do to her. Anyone who's seen any true crime media knows a good warning sign when they see one. And I'm afraid the next time I see him might be on the news.
Story from r/creepyencounters. Posted by u/442bssr. Rick killed his daughter. This shit is really messed up. I was in my early 20s when it happened. I was dating this girl named Chelsea who lived in a nearby town. I had to drive for 1 hour to go to her place and spent some days of the week there. We were working at the same company in a bigger city that was roughly in the middle of the way for both of us. Chelsea's town was quiet and had a lot of green around it. Several summer camps existed in the area, and as a kid, she would always spend the summer months there. After years of visiting those places, she ended up making a strong united group of friends who grew up together. They were all in their early 20s and decided to live near each other. Some of them even worked as counselors in one of their favorite camps. They were so integrated that almost every day at least one of them would show up to have dinner at Chelsea's place or invite us to hang out somewhere in the area. Super nice and friendly people. Within weeks I felt as if I was really part of it. The group had around 6 people. 4 girls, including Chelsea, and 2 guys. Rick and Tom. The guys were roommates and inseparable. Picture a random white dude, wearing flannels, light-washed jeans, and dirty Timbs. That was Rick. A super common guy. He had a daughter. Rick must have been 23 at the time and the little girl, Emma, was around 5. Her mom was a girl he met at a party. Her name was Alejandra. They hooked up and she got pregnant on the first and only night they spent together. As her parents were extremely Catholic, they insisted her pregnancy was a gift from God and made her keep it. From the outside, the situation looked super under control and healthy. Alejandra was going to college and the girl would stay at Rick's and Tom's place during the week. It's safe to say those 2 dudes were raising the kid. Rick had part-time jobs around the town and would work as a camp counselor over the summer. I knew him and the girl pretty well. I went to his apartment several times, played with the kid, and they would often visit Chelsea. After a couple of months, Rick left the town looking for a better job. Everyone was baffled, as nobody was expecting him to leave. The girl stayed with her mother and he went to the capital of the state. The routine changed completely. Now Emma would only spend the weekends at her father's place. Her mother would drive her there. Apparently Rick was doing fine. Some months later, Tuesday morning, I was sitting in my cubicle at work when Chelsea sends me a message, which is odd. We have to talk. Meet me downstairs, outside. Oh fuck, I thought, what have I done? I go downstairs and she's crying uncontrollably. Her makeup is all messed up. What happened? I asked. Rick's daughter is dead. He's going to jail. What the fuck? Everything after that Tuesday became extremely odd, creepy and nonsense. The crime was just so brutal and gruesome that the whole state became aware of it. Rick is taking a shower, Sunday evening, getting ready to drive his daughter back to her mom's place. The girl is playing alone. He leaves the bathroom to get his clothes, The apartment was a one-room studio, and sees Emma on the floor, with a thick canvas bag around her head and lots of blood coming out of it. Desperate, he removes the bag to find his daughter's face completely disfigured and bloody. He places the bag over her head again, calls 911 and waits. That was Rick's first version of the story. He claimed someone broke into his place while he was showering and brutally murdered his little girl. Initially, the cops believed him, even though there was not a single sign of someone else in the scene. Upon inspection of the surveillance cameras, nobody was seen breaking into his apartment and his windows were still shut. The autopsy of the body showed Rick's skin under the girl's nails and his fingerprints all over her body. Someone strangled her and then hit her head several times on hard surfaces around the apartment. They found a bloody t-shirt that belonged to Rick hidden under the bed. He never pleaded guilty, however during the trial he changed his version to "I don't remember what happened that night." "I'm sorry. Why didn't you remove the bag?" police asked. "Because it was not a nice thing to see," that was his answer. Alejandra's interview that went live on television was just utterly terrifying. She claimed Rick had always been an unstable man with several mental health issues and he would constantly bang his head on the wall when feeling distressed. What the fuck? Was she really talking about Rick? Needless to say, the incident destroyed the group. Nobody could believe Rick was that monster. They paid for a lawyer and some of them even went to court. They were all exposed by the media and the town shunned them. Tom couldn't believe his buddy had committed such monstrosity. He lived with the dude for years and even helped take care of the girl. The last time I heard from him he was obsessed with the grim details of the case, trying to find evidence to release Rick from jail. Don't you guys think a violent person capable of killing his own daughter would have shown signs of his true nature before? I would never understand that. Why? Why in the world would he do that? Story from r/creepyencounters. Posted by u/Iridium Bay. Creepy stranger in my neighborhood. I know that it's kinda dumb for me to say creepy stranger, since my community isn't that small, but almost everyone has seen each other, and people always walk up my street since it's the only one with two hills and pretty nice to walk on. I recognize almost everyone who comes down my street and have said hi to everyone at least once. We had a problem with graffiti artists under our bridge, but they only come at night, which is why this is weird to me, so I made an account to post this. Today was pretty nice out, so I stayed in the yard for most of the day, and my mom and dad put up a platform swing yesterday that I stayed on. I've been on edge since yesterday because I decided to start listening to Let's Not Meet videos as background noise again, which was honestly my fault because my paranoia spikes when I'm alone. My dad had just gone back inside after I called him to come out after I heard something that sounded like damn air raid siren go off and fade out in the direction of a traffic circle by my school. That already put me on edge, so I talked to my friends on Discord. At that point my anxiety spiked, so I decided to look around. It turns out that someone was standing by the edge of my driveway on the street. I was in my backyard, but the playground is about 20 feet from the driveway, and there was about 40 feet between me and the person on the street. They started walking away when I turned around, so I just turned back to my laptop. Afterwards I ate lunch there, but I didn't see the person out there, and my younger brother was sitting in the driveway eating his lunch. Once we were done, he went back in and I forgot about what happened earlier, since I thought they might have just stopped to take a break and it was just a coincidence. I stayed out nearly all day, but around 4 I went in to make food and came out about an hour later. I saw the person again when I came out, and I could see that it was a middle-aged white woman with short black hair. Again, I found it really weird since I'd never seen her before, but she just looked at me and waved, so I assumed she lived here and was just home from work for now, so that's why I hadn't seen her, and she was just walking the street again since it was about 5 hours since I last saw her. About an hour later, I look up and see her just standing in the driveway of the house behind mine. I was facing the woods behind my house, and was freaked out. I tried to stay calm and asked her what she wanted, and she just started walking towards me. This is the one damn time I'm glad that I'm Asian during this whole pandemic, so I start coughing and saying that I came back from Florida last month, which is the first thing that came to mind since I have a friend whose vacation was cut short. I haven't seen anyone walk away that fast before, and I don't know what would have happened if I didn't do that. It might have just been someone wanting to talk, since people in this neighborhood are pretty friendly, but it just seemed off to me. TL, Doctor, I stayed outside the whole day and got freaked out by a woman who probably had an idea similar to mine that was just more active. Edit, I haven't told my parents or my friends, and I probably should, but it seems like a one-time thing. Story from r/creepyencounters. Posted by u/throwaway202042. Creepy guy I encountered at 14. This happened 2 years ago when I was 14. I was going to church around 8 o'clock. It was fall at the time, so it was already dark and it was raining. Halfway to the church this guy shows up. All of a sudden he didn't have an umbrella, so he yells at me to wait for him. I was surprised and didn't expect anything like that. When he got to me I started to speed up because I got a weird vibe from him and I wanted to get to the church as fast as possible to get rid of him, and I thought he would speed up also so he can stay under umbrella, but nope. He took my umbrella out of my hand and told me to slow down a bit. I was scared at this point, so I said okay. He wasn't walking normally, he slowed down a lot, like those small short steps, and I did also. I was scared and there was no people around, not even cars. He started touching my hair saying that it looks really beautiful and asked me why do I look sad. I was scared. He even said something about me being a beautiful girl. I don't remember exactly how he said the sentence. Then he started moving my umbrella closer to himself. I figured out that maybe he did that to make me move closer to him because of rain, but I didn't, and my whole right side of head and body got wet. He started asking me questions like, what's my name and surname, how old I am, where I live, where I go to school, where was I before and where was I heading. I lied about everything except my age and the church. His tone of the voice changed after I said that, and he told me that he's happy because not many people my age go to the church. I just smiled nervously. Then he starts telling me about some place where I can ask some people for help if I ever needed it, and he wanted to show it to me. I honestly don't know what he was talking about. Now we got to the path where if you go right you get to the church, and on that whole right path are benches next to each other in a row. I declined and said that I really needed to go to the church, took my umbrella quickly from his hand and started to speed up. I didn't heard any footsteps. I think he was just standing there looking at me. I felt that strange feeling as if someone was watching me. I was too scared to look behind, so I really don't know, but I do know that he didn't move because I would hear it if he did. After I got out of the church, about 1 hour later, I saw a man sitting on a bench. The clothes were the same as the guy from before, so I took the other longer path to my home so he wouldn't see me. I told nobody about this, only telling now on Reddit. Story from r/creepyencounters. Posted BYU Dirty Harry 192,000. Creepy old man giving kids candy. Yes, the literal stereotype of stranger danger, brought to you by my local mall. Now for some context, my local mall is fairly small. It's got the food court, a indoor playground and some sections of stores. There's one particular section nobody goes to. So one day my mom takes me there to shop and I go off on my own to the place nobody goes to, and I'm just chilling there at a bench when this mid-60s looking dude walks up to me with a plastic bag of candy. We'll call him Mr. P. So Mr. P walks over to me, and keep in mind this bench is on a wall, so I stand up and greet him. He says something about the bag and gets close to me, like real close. I was getting shady vibes from this guy already, but I gave him the benefit of the doubt. Keep in mind I'm 13 and short, and Mr. P is tall and looks fairly built, so I'm already thinking of a way to get out of there. He then draws my attention to the candy, and if I was getting shady vibes from him earlier, this made the alarms in my head go wild. The bag is absolutely filled with candy, with the wrapping very visibly open and hastily put back together. Mr. P then tells me to get some. I obviously say no and he gets angry. I didn't want it to come to an altercation, so I take some and he leaves. The candy looks misshapen and clearly tampered with. So I throw that shit in the trash and inform the mall staff. Hopefully they catch the dude. He still goes to. Last time I went he came up to me and offered me candy again. I was at the food court though, so he just left when I said no.
Thanks for watching. Please do like, share, comment and subscribe for more videos.